Just getting started or feeling stuck? Wherever you're at, the VO Dojo is here to help you take your voiceover career all the way. Get the training, support, and connection you need to guide you every step of the way from I don't know to working pro. You get a rock-solid foundation and all the tools you need for your sustained, successful voiceover career. Mindset, skill set, and real-world experience, all in a hands-on, hearts-in, supportive community. Join us at thevodojo.com.
All right, welcome everybody to the VO Dojo's Ask the Sensei. I'm Tish Hicks. I'm the Master Sensei of the VO Dojo, usually in Burbank, California, but today coming from Chicago, Illinois. And this is one of the 2 free offerings we do each month. The first Wednesday of the month, we do Ask the Sensei, and basically I invite one of my esteemed voiceover colleagues to come join me and answer your questions. So we are here 100,000,000% for you. So everyone here is probably at different points of their voiceover journey. So whatever questions are on your mind in terms of what would be a question that you could ask today that would move you forward in anything that's going on wherever you are in your voiceover career or anything else. If you haven't had a chance, Paula and I did a great, we do a pre-interview called the Dojo 21 Questions. So you can get a full force interview about Paula's origin stories. I'm sorry. We're joined today by my esteemed colleague, Paula Tiso, who I'm so happy to have here. We had so much fun doing 21 questions. And so she is here. We would love to have you put in the chat where you're calling from and where you're at on your journey. Like, are you just beginning on the trail, have representation? Just let us know where you're at. And then Paula, as people are coming in, why don't you give us an overview of who you are and what you're up to, and then everybody can start putting your questions in the chat. Oh, and I'm a noodle today, and Kelsey B, who is our dojo team member here, is moderating. She is here, but you can't see her, but she is here. She will be moderating the questions and calling you in to bring your voice into the room, and we'll go until the top of the hour, and if you need to hop off then. And Paula, did you need to leave right away?
No, I can hang out if we need to.
Okay. So if there's overflow questions, we'll do the little extended dance mix afterwards. So Paula, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. And just tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. And thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm a voice actor based in Los Angeles, and I've always been in Los Angeles during my voiceover career, though I am originally from New York on Long Island. Right now in my career, I'm focused on in-show and documentary narration, and actually did a panel at VoiceOver Atlanta on that subject, and that was very fun. Moderated by Tom Pinto. I don't know if any of you know Tom Pinto, but he's like the guy as far as coaching for documentary and in-show narration. So that's been my focus, and I kind of naturally fall into the true crime area, because we're very fortunate, ladies, that they like to use women voices for true crime. So I've done a few series for true crime. My latest one's called Feuds Turned Fatal. They like to name it what it is. Anyway, I didn't start out doing in-show and documentary narration because I think when I first started 3 decades ago, I was kind of my energy was not right. and I was very perky. And I did do some in-show stuff like the world's top 10 beaches, that kind of stuff, which is very, you know, upbeat and excited. So
Mhm.
other things that I've worked on, you know, I've worked on all different areas. Something I enjoy is live action dubbing, which is very fun. Some people say it's voiceover karaoke.
I say it's being in a movie without having to be on set.
Right, right. And it's definitely coloring within the lines because you are doing exactly what the on-screen actor is doing, and that's the challenge. It's very fun. I don't know if I need to go into any of all that, but I just wanted to kind of give a brief
Yeah,
overview.
that's good. And so definitely we are here to share our expertise, but whatever questions you have about anything, you don't just have to talk about those things that Paula just shared that because we were just saying we've been in the business for a really long time, so we've seen it all. No, and we still love it and we still do it and it's still fun and we're still evolving and asking questions as well. So why don't we jump right in? Kelsey, what questions do we have so far?
Yeah, I have a question for Paula, and Tish. Um, how on this path have you saved for retirement? What is your advice?
Sag after baby. Yeah, I think, well, a couple things. For me, I've been a part of the union since 1995. And I've been really blessed in working most of those years. So this is why I say, feel like, union, non-union. I'm like, dude, um, yeah, like that is most of my pension plan. I think thinking of from day one that you are running a business and you are your own employer. So if you're not SAG-AFTRA yet, if you're not working on union jobs yet, you should be charging 13% more and you should be putting it in something that is taking care of you, like to factor it in. How about you, Paula? You might be smarter than me and do other things in addition to.
Well, I will second what you said, definitely. And then an inheritance. You have to have a rich relative, basically.
Marry rich. No, we are
Or
totally
that,
being
or that.
facetious. Yeah.
I married another voice actor, so I wasn't thinking ahead, was I?
Mm,
But yeah, I would say, you know, if you have that extra money to put aside, you should do it. It's rough because, you know, the income's up and down. It's like you're earning that money and then all of a sudden you're not and you have to dip into the emergency fund. So yeah, I would say definitely, you know, going the union route is the way to go.
mhm,
And yeah, what
mm,
Tish said.
yeah, and I think let's see, where was I going with this? Yeah, I think just definitely, definitely when the big jobs come, plan for them not to be there, because they can go. So you could be like, woohoo! I've got all the shows. I remember I remember a promo friend who was the voice of everything. Chopper, do you know Chopper? You know Chopper
Oh yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
Mars? Yeah,
Mhm.
Chopper was the promo voice for everything, and then there was a regime change, and he was the voice of nothing. So yeah, I think ahead and think of yourself as a business from the beginning.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. It's definitely feast or famine.
yeah, can be. Yeah. Well, that's cheery. Okay.
Woo!
What other questions do we have?
Evan Griner, come on up.
Evan, hello.
Hi. Thank you for your time today, Paula. My question is, whenever you did video game or animation work, has a voice director ever asked you to do a character voice that's different from your natural one? And if so, how did you go about doing the voice?
That's a good question. I don't focus on that much anymore, but let's see. I kind of always fall into a more natural voice. I'm not a charactery voice actor. One of the I did do a French accent for No More Heroes. That's a character that I did 3 games doing. Fallout 76 Wastelanders, I was more of a gruff, a little bit of a, I don't know if she had a little bit of a southern sound. So I mean, it's like I age up and age down and can do some accents, but I would say no, I can't think of any totally charactery voice that I was ever asked to do. That's not like it's not my wheelhouse.
Okay, fair enough.
For me, I always find, particularly now, I feel like maybe, particularly now, you often don't get any information as you step into a video game session. Like you might have like a acolyte or a something or pedestrian or, like something. You get very basic information and maybe not even the game. I think that's
I've got
maybe now you do, but I think we had to go on strike to find out what the game was. But but I remember I walked into a session with 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀, who is one of my favorite directors to work with. And it turned out to be Rage 2, which is like a post-apocalyptic game. And I walked in and I needed to be like an old voodoo lady on the, like a Cajun voodoo lady on the porch with a pipe sort of thing was one, and then like a regular person in danger. But then the other was like a like a biker chick killer lady that was like like just the nastiest person. So that was like what I had to do that day. And you walk in, you go like, all right, here we go. I often will look at what's going on with the physicality. Like, what is the physicality? What is the status? A lot of times, you'll be like, an acolyte is this, but she's, it's like you. So just figuring out what is the status, what is the world, what is the environment, and then just like any character work, what is driving, what is most important for that person. And then if you can go like, okay, that's the heart of it. And I'm just making this up right now, guys, but I'm thinking about like what I do. If you think about like, okay, so here's the character, here's what they're after, and then you kind of like figure out how to fold out your cards of their vulnerability. Like when are they unstoppable and how are they unstoppable? And then when are they most vulnerable? Like what is most tender for them? You just kind of like instantly figure out a little fan of cards, and then you can play around with anything and be in the moment there. So
you reminded me of it when I was doing some of those sessions for Fallout, that I was asked to do some weird characters. So Evan, I just blanked on it, but I did have to do like a weird bird type zombie creature. And
cool.
you just have to come up with what you think that sounds like, like a religious fanatic type, but already dead and bird-like. So you just come up with the voice on the spur of the moment. And that one was kind of more high-pitched. We just kind of worked on it for just a couple of seconds, and it was high-pitched and very constricted, so you could hear the breathing and that kind of stuff. And so they do throw characters like that at you. I just kind of forget about it.
It goes super fast too. It's like
it does.
Line, got it. Give me another one. Okay, we got that. Move on. It's fast.
Was that one of the Final Fantasy games that you did?
No. That I think that was the Fallout game.
Oh, okay.
That I was doing, because they can ask you to do multiple voices. And, if I had pickups for Duchess and then they still had time left on the clock, they asked me to do a couple of more characters. And they just throw them at you because they need to fill those voices with a character. So you just have to be ready for whatever, because you don't get anything in advance. There's no prep.
None.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Great question.
Thank you.
Who's next, Kels?
We've got a lot of great questions, so let's keep it rolling.
Yay.
We got Tracy Medberry.
Tracy?
Hello, Paula. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Sorry, I've got pain I'm dealing with, so I'm not in my booth right now. So I have a question. I've been acting for decades, but I just recently transitioned to voice acting, commercial voice acting, and I was wondering if you had any advice for somebody who's wanting to get their foot into the door for uh, more character work, video games, animation. I guess more video games for your realm, but
Yeah. So I don't know if you've had any coaching yet for any of these things that you want to jump into.
uh-huh. Well, I've been acting for decades, but coaching for video games specifically, no.
Yeah. So the acting background is great. That's key. It really is. So you've got a step up with that for sure. I am a big proponent of coaching, and even if it's group classes, whatever the budget will allow, or individual coaching, seeking out those people who are coaching in those areas. I still coach with in different areas, mostly right now, like I said, with documentary narration. I will revisit, these same areas that I want to focus on, because on different days and after different levels of experience, you hear things, they pop out at you. Tish and I were just talking about that. When you get to different levels, the questions that you have, you're going to hear a different part of that answer, even if you hear the same exact answer. So I think that joining any kind of a voice actor group, really being dialed into what's going on, trying to figure out what's casting right now, and getting yourself into a class or coaching with somebody specifically for that is the way to go. And of course, if you are a gamer and you do play, then you can hear the work that's being produced and kind of get a feel for where you fit into that scenario. Not that you would be copying anybody's style or doing anything that other people do. It's just good to kind of immerse yourself into the area that you want to be a part of. I just think, like, totally on the daily, I am listening to somebody narrate something every day. Because you want it to be like, you want to steep yourself in it. So yeah, I would say coaching and researching and listening.
But then as far as finding work, how do you usually go about that?
Well, there's non-union stuff. And I do hear that I don't know, Tish, if you know, there's like, I heard that on, it used to be Twitter. I'm not on there. There's a big voice actors group on there. You hear things about, you put your ear to the ground and you hear what's casting or what that kind of stuff is. I have an agent, so I get all my auditions through my agent for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And that's how I find the work.
Yeah.
Tish, you have something to say
I
about
think
that?
I think this is one of the things that is really helpful to know, because a lot of times people, you've got your commercial VO going. That's great. Are you do you have representation with your commercial demo?
Yes, I have a one form through Wilhelmina, and I've got a roster through Wilhelmina as well. So yes.
So then the game overall is just to recognize that depending on what level of animation you want to be working at, if you want to be working at top levels of animation and AAA video games, those usually come through having a working relationship with an agent who has a working relationship with the animation companies and the video game companies. So this is why when someone comes to the dojo and is like, I just want to do animation, you could just do animation. However, refer back to Mary Rich, because it's harder to make a living unless you hit the Simpsons jackpot or the SpongeBob jackpot. It's hard to make a living just on animation. And I was saying to somebody over the weekend at VoiceOver Atlanta, like, I've been in commercial sessions with Dan Castellaneta. He doesn't have to be there; he's there. Um, so, um, so you have to figure out the game and how to diversify your portfolio for yourself, but then also for your agent,
Okay.
right? So you need to be bringing stuff to the party, and then you get access to this part. Um, and
Maybe also different agent that's more.
yeah, and well, this is also the other answer is be with the people who are doing the thing, right? So if Wilhelmina is Wilhelmina based out of New York?
Yeah, but we've got a Rocky Mountains, Denver section here. So
Oh, you're in Denver. Okay. Yeah. So you're in a regional thing, so you can explore finding which agencies specialize in animation, and that's how you would build that relationship. Now, in the meantime, so that's the one of the parts, find the people who are doing the things, find the agencies who are doing the things that you want to be doing. Also, be with the people who are doing the things, meet the casting directors. I just did an amazing workshop with Andrea Toyas from Blizzard. I've worked on World of Warcraft, so I've worked with other people, but I hadn't met Andrea, and it was taking it to the next level. But if you're in a group of 10 people or 12 people that are in a class for 6 weeks, you start to know Andrea and know how deeply she works and how what else you need to do to get your work to the place that it needs to be, and then she knows you. So that's a lot of what we do at the dojo too, of like, be with the people who are doing the things. That's why we do fight clubs and things like that, so you can meet the decision makers. And then last thing on this subject, everyone that I know, my wonderful, amazing, brilliant, inspiring, talented colleagues who really rock it in animation, many of them are like, I am here to do animation. I remember seeing Kari Walgren when she was Kari McGee, and she had just moved from New York City, and she's like, I'm here to do animation. And hell and high water, she has done that. So I think setting your hair on fire a little bit about it is not a bad thing, if that makes sense. If you want it, then get hungry about it. Don't get crazy about it, but get hungry and know as Paula was saying, know what's going on, and be like a little kid knowing everything about that animal or that thing. And yeah, go for it. So that's
perfect.
what I'd
Thank you.
say. Lots of answers. Lots of answers. Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Good question. Good question. Turn the dream into the reality. I dream of it. Good. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, what's next, Kels? Who's next? More importantly,
James Springer.
James Springer. I don't think you've been here before, have you?
I haven't, but I actually
Welcome,
did
welcome.
meet you in VO Atlanta last year. And actually, I think when I first hit the ground, I sat down on a table with Kelsey and we blah blah'd for about a half an hour or so. And that's how I came to know of you guys. So,
Yay! So glad you're here.
yeah, same. It's nice to be here. And, I kind of want to play in different circles. And now it's your guys' turn for a while, too. So thank you uh, for setting this up and having Paula here and available to speak with. That's awesome. So Paula, this one is primarily for you. I know that earlier in your career, you did do some character work. Yeah, I think around video games and things like that. So I've noticed that when you do character work, especially say something like Lulu in Final Fantasy X, there's a lot of things in that story that's maybe a little bit difficult to kind of grab in the moment. Was there anything that you had to do internally to kind of come from a place of authenticity as you were working through that role? I think it was a little earlier in your career, so I would imagine it was probably somewhat of a learning experience for you to work on a project like that. So if you do that, what's your favorite example of that? And it could even be, some of the narration work that you're doing right now, how you found your voice imprint, but a way that you found that authenticity by connecting to something that was personal to you.
That's a very involved question. It's a good one.
Thanks.
It was definitely a learning experience to work on that on Final Fantasy X. So it's a dub, and there was already an actress who had done it, and occasionally they play some of the original voice actor stuff. Actually, I've never really found that to be helpful because I feel that the Japanese style of reading things is very different than how I approach. But it was interesting, and with Lulu, she's a very grounded and centered character. And I had mentioned that in the beginning of my career, I was not very grounded and centered. So it was very much just, making sure that the focus was completely on what I was doing and not letting anything extraneous influence what I was doing. So that was a learning curve. But once I fell into it, there was a certain cadence and a certain way that she had about her that just became second nature going through that game. Same thing with documentary narration. As I work in that area. It's just it's kind of, I don't want to say a hyper focus, but it is a very, just, your lens is out here. No, your lens is here. And that's all you're doing. Same thing with Lulu for the character, and same thing with documentary narration. And it's all storytelling.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question? Is there more that I need to add?
No, I mean, I think that if you feel comfortable with that answer, I certainly do. It's a big question, and so it's nice to understand how people approach those things. But I will ask a follow-up though. In working with your voice print, right? What adjustments have you made through the years by being exposed to other people in your chosen target, like what you want to hit, right? I know for you it's going to be narration. So, what adjustments have you made? You mentioned earlier you were big, boisterous, really excited. Now you do have to find that place of center and focus. So, what were some interesting little adjustments or epiphanies that you had along that journey?
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned, I do listen to a lot of documentary narration.
Mm.
And going back to that particular video game, Final Fantasy X, there's a limited area in which you can play because you are supporting a story that's already there. So there's no big arcs, and there's no, it's staying within a certain range, and you find that range by practicing. So one thing that I do is I write my own narration pieces and I record them. It's not along the lines of a true crime thing. I'm not that skillful of a writer, but I do write whatever catches my interest. I will write a 1-minute narration and I will record it. And then I listen back and I find that I'm rewriting and recording and just getting within the zone that I need to get into. So basically, I'm doing it all the time.
Practice. Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you ever narrate your own life? Paula comes into the house.
It wouldn't be very exciting.
Groceries, which she didn't know. That's good. Excellent. Thanks, James. Glad you're here.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
What's next, Kels?
Okay, other James Young.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, thanks for being here.
I think we missed
I
Jeff Kels. Sorry to interrupt, James. Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay. No worries. We'll go with you, and then we'll go back to Jeff. Yeah.
Okay, so I am getting into character as well as other people here, and I just got my demo done and I'm trying to like find ways to network and find a small group as you were talking about. What are effective ways you've gone about doing that?
Hmm.
Well, I have created workout groups over the years, and I'm not currently running a workout group, but I have pre-pandemic I started a working pro workout group, and I just contacted people and I said, "Hey, you want to work out? We'll do it once a week. Bring your own scripts. I have some, whatever." And it was in person. Uh, and then during the pandemic, of course, we all migrated onto Zoom, and we kept each other going and engaged and dialed in through the height of all that, because every week we'd get in the studio and practice and read and give notes. So that's an option, is to create your own workout group. It could be 3 people, it could be 2 people, it could be 5 people, whatever it is. And it'll serve its purpose for as long as it's able. And then people, they kind of branch out and it can disperse, and it's better to not struggle to try to keep something together, or you could keep adding people. You can join, of course, something like VO Dojo, which is a supportive and learning environment. You can join an organization like 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀. I'm on the board at 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀. They have a Discord that people are on all the time. And there's different rooms and there's different topics, and they're always back and forth on there. I'm not as into the Discord, but I do see that that's going on. So there's all different ways that you could dial into a community of voice actors. And I highly recommend that you do as much of it as you want and can. Mm-hmm. And there's different ways of doing it than the ones I mentioned too. There's just different, it's really important because the energy feeds you and the ideas are there. The ideas are bouncing off the walls and things are going to catch your ear and it's going to set you in a different direction. It's just good stuff.
Yeah. Well, first of all, James, you're here. So smart, so pretty, so smart, to be here because, there's lots of places that you can connect up with different communities, and get a feel of what's going on there, and then see if you want to figure out how to continue on. Paula and I were doing our smoking our cigarettes. We've been doing this for so long. But the reality is that when we started, and I know you hear this all the time, like, grandpa walking up and down the hill in the snow backwards. But when we did start, moving to a major market like LA, the way things were structured, that we saw each other in person every day. You might not see everybody, but you definitely see somebody, and you'd see the receptionist, and you'd see the business affairs off person, and you'd see the agents, and you'd see the assistants, and you'd see people. And then we would go like, Paula, hi, how's it going? Oh, how are the kids? Okay, great. Oh, did you get this? Okay, great. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna go in and do my session. And then we were already talking because we were us, and then we'd go in and do our audition, and we'd come out and go like, okay, see you tomorrow. So there was built in collaboration and community. And now, especially since the pandemic, the whole business, there's like no longer expectation that will be part of it. We are responsible for creating it ourselves, and that's really the heart of the dojo. I mean, I don't know how this impacted you, Paula, but hearing the news that LA Studios was closing was sort of like, what? That's like tearing down the Parthenon or something. Like what the hell? It was like, but this is where the business is going. So it's really imperative that your question is really, really at the heart of how do you create your business? How do you create your business? But then also, how do you continue developing your skills? And one of the things that the dojo is about is we learn faster and fuller learning with and from each other. Like, it's awesome to coach one-on-one, and you will go far, you will go deep. And there's something else also that happens when you're working in a group of committed and focused talented people who are all in the same quest, and you learn with and from each other, because you can hear, oh, that's what that is. So keep on reaching out to resources like this. Come in virtual, and then figure out, and then become your own center, as Paula said. Find others who you want to be working with. So it's a really a good and essential question. So, but don't do it alone. That's the key. So yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Where are you located, James?
I'm near Philadelphia, but I plan to move to Atlanta in a few months.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I'd suggest reaching out to Heidi Rue at Atlanta Atlanta Studios, Atlanta Voiceover Studios. They're lovely, so you'll be able to meet people there, and then
Okay.
come play at Dojo Stuff too. We should talk.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Um, let's see. Can we go back to Jeff Kels?
Yes, Jeff Burns, come on up.
Hey, Paula. It's been a minute.
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay.
So my question is, because I know you were a booth director back at an agency a long time ago, what are some nuggets that you got from being on that side of the glass?
That's a good
Well,
question.
for some talent, all I did was push the buttons. Because at the time, there was there always is amazing talent at SBV. But wow, I mean, we had Garfield, Lorenzo Music.
Oh, wow.
So that with Lorenzo, no direction needed. And then when he recorded, he'd say, okay, I want to listen now. He'd lay down on the floor. And you have to remember that the door to the booth opens in. So his head was right there. So I would always have my foot against the frickin' door, like, oh my God, Lorenzo, somebody open, because they could open the door and go, hey, Paula, can you fit in, Lala? This kind of thing. Anyway, so that was always a little stressful because I was afraid that Lorenzo was going to get crowned by the door. He never did. I directed Rob Paulson. I directed, a bunch of different, Tress McNeil, all these people, which is what inspired me. I did have an acting background, but it inspired me to jump into voiceover. Jennifer Hale, she was there at the time. It's amazing to see the difference between one actor to the next on the same piece of copy that you will also see in a workout group. And it was a great learning experience. So yeah, I mean, I even recorded Ernie Anderson once.
Wow, what a masterclass.
That was scary. I don't know if you know who Ernie Anderson is. He actually, his son is Paul. Paul something?
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yes, his son is Paul Thomas Anderson. And Ernie was the big voice. He used to do the Love Boat and all the promos and trailers at the time. Ernie Anderson was huge. And, he would just be like, what is this shit? He'd come in with his coffee and it's just like, okay, Ernie, I'm just going to push the button. You just go when you want. But yeah, it was good times. Good times.
Wow. Thanks, Paula.
Yeah. And a long time ago. Yeah, you're right, Jeff.
That's why I miss the lobby.
I know,
Yeah.
we missed the lobby.
I'm lucky my agent still has one, so I can go in there whenever I'm in town.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Yeah, Atlas does not have a lobby. No more lobby.
Yeah. If you're working pro level, we have a career catapult coming up. Nth degree career catapult, something we do twice a year. It's 3-day weekend intensive. And part of that is spending 4 hours with top agents. We do a panel. The agents listen to everyone's demo and give individual feedback, and then kind of run a mini interview. But I bring it up because Jeff's agent is Dean Panero, and he does still run a lobby, and he's going to be one of those people. So,
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, there's something else about, oh, just the learning with and from each. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Um, when we do 21 questions, I ask everybody basically what's your origin story, and so we hear what it is, how it all happened. Paula happened to come from the other side of the booth into, but just remember, every one of us is in our origin story. If you're just starting out here, you are living your origin story. So who do you want to, who are you hanging out with? Who are you building your business with? Who are you learning with and from? You're living your origin story right now. So think of it that way. That's kind of a cool thing. When you're all
I love that. I
when
love
you're all like
that.
old and back in the day, I worked with this crazy lady, Tisha. She was kooky. Um, yeah. Cool. Who's next? Great question, Jeff. Really good.
Yeah, did you want to do pictures and announcement next, or you want to move on a
Oh,
little
yeah, yeah,
bit?
yeah. We can do pictures and announcement. Um, so we kind of did a little bit of announcement, but yeah, if everybody wants to get their real face, if you want, we'll give you a second to come off camera if you can. You might be a smart person who's at work and getting paid to listen to this. Super smart. But yeah, let's do it. Okay, so there we go. All right, so yay. Oh wait, I didn't do it. Hold on. Okay, now I did it. All right, VO. There we go. Okay, picture attained. And yeah, you want to, well, Paula, what kind of thing? I know you said you're not doing a workout group right now, but you and your husband Paul run voice box or soundbox west
Soundbox
side,
West Side.
right?
Yes, yes, yes.
But yeah, tell us what you're up to and how do people stay in touch with you?
Yeah. So my husband Paul 𝗬𝗀, he's a voice actor. He's also the engineer here in our studio at Soundbox West Side. And we have talent in who record their auditions. We just had a lady in this morning who had to come. She had to jump in before this that I'm doing with you guys. And I'm like, we have a hard out because I needed to jump on here with you. But we had an audition in this morning. We have sessions, audiobooks. We do 𝗬𝗺 ADR work. We do really anything that the talent needs. And so Soundbox is Tim Friedlander's group of studios, and it's all voice actors for voice actors. So the studios, we have one in Sherman Oaks. He's in the Hollywood area. We're on the West Side. I think we actually have a Soundbox in Boston right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's run by 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗧. And so we are having an audiobook in next week, and those are, of course, much longer sessions. And I do, hospitality and make sure that we have plenty of water and snacks and stuff like that. That's my big job. And he does all the engineering. So it's great to have other people come in. It's fun, and it keeps us dialed in to the community in a different way. And yeah. And the way that you book Soundbox is there. It's the website is Soundbox, and we have a main scheduler, Michelle, who takes care of all the intake, and then you just pick which studio you need to go to. So if you're ever in LA and you need to use a studio, just know Soundbox is here for you.
Good, good, good. And how would people find you and your work? Like on socials?
Sure. Yeah. So I do have an Instagram, Paula Tiso Voice, I think it is. I have a YouTube channel that I stick all my little narrations on. I also use them for social media. And my website is paulatiso.com. I work in a lot of different areas of voiceover. Something that you will notice is things are changing in the voiceover world right now. For instance, I used to do a lot of affiliate work, which is news stations all across the country. And what's happening is that these news stations are being absorbed and turned into, they're kind of taking the local out of local news, And now there's hubs across the country, and they've been replacing and firing and getting rid of their voice talent. And it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. It's just because I'd say, gosh, almost 20 years, that was my thing. I had a bunch of different stations. Now I have two. I have two left. But that's what happens. You have to be agile, and you have to work in many different areas of voiceover if you're going to make a living at it. That's my take on it. And that's something that Tish was saying, either you be hyper focused on one thing and hope that you book that big gig, or you are available to everything and anything that you feel you're right for. And that's how I've always done my career.
Yeah. We call it diversifying your portfolio, diversifying your revenue stream portfolio. That there's because you may be rocking it in in video games, and then we go on strike for a year and a half, right? So you don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, good. And then here at the dojo, you want to share what's going on, Kelsey? I mentioned a little bit about the nth degree career catapult. If you are a working pro with demos, maybe looking for representation, or hold on, let me say, not looking for representation, ready to add representation to your team, or add additional representation to your team. That's happening May 1st through 3rd, and we can, if you're interested in that, you can reach out to Melina. Kelsey put that in the chat. And you want to share what else is going on, Kelsey, or shall I?
Can you? Because I don't have my voice.
Yeah, no voice. We have little VOA voice going on. Wherever you are on your journey, we have our foundational course. You should do voiceover launchpad and workout. And if you're just beginning or on the trail, it's fantastic. Even when people come to join our working pro division, we have them start with, you should do voiceover launchpad and workout, because it lays foundations. We meet you where you are, and then we can take off running. So, but that's coming up April 13th. It'll be 4 Mondays through May 4th. Monday afternoon in Los Angeles. So you can go to the website and find out about that. We also have this is one of our free offerings each month, Ask the Sensei, and then on the 3rd Wednesday of the month, which I think might be a little weird. No, I think it is a 3rd Wednesday of the month. Anyway, we do an informational series called Get to Know VO, and this month is our Demo Listen Derby. So our demo producers, Brittany Cox and Ryan Ricks from Next Level Voice Demos, and I come together. We ask you to share your demos, and basically we run them through the gauntlet of what makes a good demo. It's we share our opinions. We are truthful and nurturing. Sometimes I know it's really vulnerable. It's a really vulnerable moment when we bring our demo that is a little piece of us, 7 little slices of us, and we bring it. So we know it's a fairly vulnerable thing, and we're all working pros, and we need to know what is going to move us forward. So, Demo Listen Derby coming up on which day? I think
that
15th.
Is coming up April 15th.
April 15th, same
Tax day.
Same bat time. The day before that, I'm going to be doing class, if you're a member of NAVA, at 10 a.m. on the 14th. I'm going to be teaching a class called VO Empowerment. If you're a member of National Association of Voice Actors, I'll be there. Thank you, Paula. And yeah, it's Empower Your VO. And then last thing, 3 times a month, we do our working pro workout called the VO Pro Fight Club. And we bring in top-notch talent and the decision makers who hire us in all different genres. We call it a fiercely friendly face-off that turns the audition process transparent. And demo repped and booking is the criteria to play. Everyone can be a spectator. Coming up is live dubbing with Jessica Blue. Renee Johnson from Disney Character Voices is coming in April. And then Rick Thief is doing animation at the end of the month. Uh, I can't say that Caitlin Robrock got the job of Minnie Mouse because she came to a fight club, but I can say that she first met Renee at a fight club. So that's all there for everybody. I think that's enough. There's always something happening at the dojo. And we got a couple more minutes. What other questions do you guys have? How can we help you?
We have a question from Aaron.
Aaron.
Hi, and
Hello.
thank you for this. Tish, you talked about having a portfolio for the kinds of voiceover work one wants to target, and I was wondering if you guys can talk about the macro aspect of being an actor in terms of balancing on-camera VO and stage work in terms of business strategy.
Okay. You wanna? I don't know what your. Do you balance those things, Paula?
Do I balance those things?
Do you still work on camera and do
I do
stage?
not. I
No.
do not. I think, as far as just as a balancing thing, it's just giving the attention where it's needed at the time, and then being able to move that attention to other areas. Because it's like I said before, it seems to me like things are up and down all the time. But Tish, I'm sure you have more to add to that.
Well, in some ways I do, because at the beginning of my career, I was doing stage and I was doing theater. I mean, that is theater, and I was doing on camera. And then basically my voiceover career took off and I had kids. So I think really one thing that I'll say overall is the first thing is mindset, which is the foundation of everything at the dojo. But have in your mindset that they're not separate things, right? I think sometimes on camera actors are like, oh, I want to do voiceover, but it's so hard to break into, and it'll take away from my on camera. And the reality is, what I've found over the years of bringing amazing on camera actors in, it deepens and focuses and makes you even more authentically you when you come to an on camera audition. So it plus think of being, say you reach the highest levels of being an on-camera actor. Suddenly you're going to start getting opportunities like, oh, you know what, who would be good? That new guy on the pit, Aaron Mendelsohn. Oh, he would be great. And if you come in and you're like, boom, I know how to do a campaign, bitches. That is great. And think of how many A-list people on film, TV have campaigns. It's a real, like, we talk about diversifying our voiceover portfolio, and then as performers, if you so choose, if that is part of what your intention is and what you're going for, then diversify your performing portfolio. Because I went to Northwestern for theater, and I go back and I teach master classes, and I say, hey kids, love theater, like eating, try voiceover. Because if you have a voiceover career, you can do any flipping Shakespearean, any flipping part you want to do anywhere, and you'll still be able to live and create art. That's the thing we talk about at the dojo. It's an art form that serves commerce, and then that commerce serves your art form. So it really is balancing. I talked about this in a mental health panel at VOA. I like the word harmony rather than balancing. Because when we're balancing, we have all these things and they suddenly
Right.
have to come to one point. You kind of always have to be balancing. Whereas harmony can be two things or it can be 146 things. And some can be a little bit and some can be a lot, but it's like finding the harmony between them.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess the thing that I'm concerned about, and I'm not anywhere near there right now because I'm kind of
mhm,
coming back into the business,
mhm,
but let's say you have representation for on camera
mhm.
and voiceover, and depending upon, you know, the audition can pull you, yank you in all these different directions. So I love what you're talking about, Tish, in terms of harmony and being centered. But I know it's a process, and I just wanted to get your perspectives on that because
Yeah.
um, an audition comes in, and then it's like, oh, it's for this, and I'm just a little concerned about being pulled in all these different directions. And
Yeah, but I'll bet you if you think about it, there are three things in your life that if you were required to do them at the same time, that require different parts of you or different ways that there's a protocol for it, you'd be like, yeah, I can make dinner, I can talk to my accountant, and I can, like I can, do something else. I'm not exactly, but if you think about it, if I asked you to do three things either simultaneously or in a row that require different executive functions, different parts of your soul, different time, and how you approach it, you do that. You know how to do
Mhm.
that. So then it's just getting clear of knowing what is required in a voiceover audition, and maybe you're on a learning curve. Maybe you're on a learning, like I'm like, I was just here like, oh crap, I forgot that audition, hold on 1 second, blah, 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 blah. But if you're on a learning curve, you might need more time, right?
Okay.
But I've been out of the on camera world for a long time. So even now when I get like mocap stuff, I'm like, self tape. Ah. So,
Yeah.
that's something that I've set out for myself, like getting myself up to like going to the SAG Foundation and getting myself up to speed. So
Okay.
that there's not something that I'm like, oh crap, I don't know how to do that. Um, but
Okay.
but so I think you just need to know what's that. And then mostly it's time management.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a show, if you're in, although, let's look at, but okay, actually, it's time management and it's so doable. I'm going to share a story about Anderson Stinson III, who is part of our dojo team. He's one of our dojo path guides, and he's also like a huge example of everything that we do at the dojo. Um, Anderson was not at VOA with us because he was doing a play back in Boston where he went to college. While he was there, in the day of the blizzard, he had to figure out how to do his recording for 17 Intel spots at his house because he couldn't get to the studio. And then I just saw him post something else that he worked on I don't know if it was an on camera commercial or something else that he was on a shoot. So Anderson would be a good person to talk to about how he's living that life now. Um, but it's totally doable, and then they all feed each other. So they
Okay.
they
Thank
all
you.
they all complement and supplement each other if you
Mm,
build it that way.
mm.
And then you've already had children, right? Or you don't
Uh,
have children.
I don't have
So
children.
okay, then yeah, that adds a whole nother thing to the mix, but that's another discussion. And you can still
Okay.
do it with children too, but yeah, it's good.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, that's a great question, which brings us to the top of the hour. Do we have other questions, Kels? Are there more
Yes.
questions? Yeah. Well, why don't we, if you need to leave because it's the top of the hour, thank you so much for being here. Please join us for Demo Listen Derby on the 15th. And if you have any questions or would like to talk more about anything that's going on here at the dojo, please sign up for a voiceover once-over call. It's free call with one of our path guides, Anderson or Melina, and we can talk about where you're at, where you'd like to be, how we might be able to help. So we always love getting to know everybody. And for those of you here for the first time, yay, thank you. Come back. Put this on your calendars. So if you need to roll, thanks for being here. And if you want to hang out for another couple of minutes, we'll finish up the questions. And we should have a recording out in the next few days or the next little while. So look for the replay if you want to catch the after hours question. So
Thank you, Paula and Tish.
yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah.
Thanks so much. I did see there was another question in there.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we can keep on going. We can keep on going with questions for the people who can stay.
Got it.
What are the questions are there, Kels?
Luna, come up, Luna.
Hi. Sorry for putting a question right at the top of the hour.
No, no, that's fine. That's why we stop if you need to leave, and then we have the after hours. Yeah.
So I am at the relative beginning of my journey, and so I have been like doing sessions with myself, just like doing copy and listening and back. So my question is, when you're working out by yourself, how do you decide when you've worked the copy enough? And is it just like when you start feeling like you sound weird and you have to just stop?
I'd have to stop right away. I'd be, oh, yeah, I better stop. I sound weird.
Yeah, go for it, Paula. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question, because when you're just starting out, it's hard to know what you're listening for. And I think the best way to approach that is just to make sure that you're trying to sound as natural and accessible as possible. So I don't know if you're one trick is to record without your headphones on and just say your lines. Tell it like it is, like you would say it to me, like you just asked that question. And then you could listen back and go, hey, I think I could hit this word differently or what have you. And then try a take with your headphones on and see and compare and say, what sounds more like what I would hear on the air, right? I wouldn't overwork anything. I wouldn't, at this point in my career, when I'm working on a piece of copy and I'm reading it for myself, I feel like I'm peeling back layers of an onion, just, okay, I got to get rid of that and that, piles of slickness or whatever that I've developed over the years, the tricks up my sleeve, what have you. But I think that if you're just starting out, you might not have that. And what you might have is just feeling uncertain about yourself. So I would say do it a few different ways until you feel comfortable with it. And Tish, I'm sure you have stuff to add.
Yeah, well, I think another great way to do it is to think of it in two ways. We do this particularly like when you get copy for your demo. This is especially, but thinking of it like pie dough, like you don't want to touch it too much. That's particularly as you're about to go into your demo. You don't want to touch it too much. Now, when you are developing your craft, you can create your process. This is what the pre-flight checklist is that we have at the dojo, right? These are 5 steps that you can take in, analyze, like what is the information you're doing, how are you going to connect up to it, what is the logic, what is the energy, like having some things that are in your pre-flight checklist, that if you get in the habit of laying down those foundations of this is a way to approach it, and if you do a pre-flight checklist, there's 5 different takes that you're doing before you do take 1, right? And you're kind of looking at, I liken it to like, okay, so here's the copy, right? But then you do it another way and you see it like this, and you do it, make sure there's no coffee in here. Yeah. you do it another way and you see this part and you see it this part. So then you kind of like keep on turning around the copy when you're looking at it in those 5 passes before take 1. So I think that's a great thing to do as you're beginning and you're developing your ear for yourself, your own ear for yourself. And then you're also developing your self-direction skills, which is also something that we're 1,000% responsible for now. And then something that I really love to do when I remember to give myself the buffer is to step away from it for a little while, then play it and step into the other room. Does it catch your ear? Can you hear what you're talking about? Or does it sound like blah, 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 right? Or blah, 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 right? You can kind of hear it when it goes like, oh, actually, that one sounded pretty good. Yeah. And then there's the eternal tussle that we all have with bringing our inner critics onto the team, right? Because when you start sounding weird, oh, that just sounded weird. What are you, some sort of freak, some voiceover freak? What the hell is wrong with you? You better do it again. Do it again, right?
I think that's a good brand. That's a good brand. Voiceover freak. I like it.
Voiceover freak. Yeah. And then and then Luna, you have disciplines that are physical disciplines that require precision and strength and flow. And so Luna happens to be, is it okay if I share what else you do? Yeah. She's an aerialist. Oh, so wow. Think about being 40 feet above the ground with nothing but a silk holding you up. There was probably stuff you did at 2 feet above the ground when you were learning.
Still to this day, absolutely.
Yeah. So keep trusting that you're in process, and there might be things that felt like when you first did it, and now it's just like ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. So give yourself grace as you're developing, and then you can either say, I do a certain amount of time, I do a certain amount of takes. In the beginning, do as many takes as you need because you'll learn, right? And then you'll go like, holy banana balls, I can't run a business if it takes me 45 takes to do one piece of copy. That's not going to be viable. And so it will go 45 and then 30 and then 20 and then 10. And when you get to where you can nail any piece of copy within 2 takes with no direction, then start thinking about making your demo. Mm-hmm. Right. But right now, give yourself grace in the beginning and notice. And if you're driving yourself bananas, then stop. Right? Yeah. There's the answer. Don't drive yourself crazy. Yeah. So
I like that. I like what you said, Tish, about the buffer. I do that. If I have something that's due in the morning and I have time in the evening to throw down a few takes and then, race out to the studio and listen to it in the morning, half the time I hate what I did. And I'm like, what the heck was that all about?
Why are you so weird?
Then, because of the foundation of having worked on it, I could throw down a take and I'm like, okay, that's more like it. Mm-hmm. So having a buffer it makes a big difference to step away from it and then come back. And I think also with the discipline you've learned from what you do with aerial stuff, that's a perfect thing to apply to voiceover, because it is precision. It is placing everything, right here and into the microphone. It's different than being an actor who's, out here, it's here, right? So perfect. I mean, you're starting from a very good place, it seems to me.
But having that precision and all about the flow.
Yes.
And letting it go. Yeah, that's great. Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one more question.
Yes.
I was wondering, Paula, how did you stay resilient when work was slow and you weren't booking as much? How did you keep up your tenacity to keep going?
That I love that, because I do think of myself as tenacious Tiso. Tenacity is part of the brand. No, it is actually. What do I do when I'm in a low? I focus on all my marketing stuff and I make sure that it's up to date. I rewrite my bio. I look at my website. I get that information to my web designer because I don't do that myself. I look at my demos. Do I need to redo anything? Do I want to take anything off my demos? Is there something that I've worked on that I could add? All that kind of stuff. I focus on that, all my marketing stuff. And then I might get myself a coaching session in whatever it is that I'm feeling like I'm lagging. It could be a slow period for everybody, or it could be a slow period for me. And that would inform where I might go and do a little coaching. I never take the focus off because, it's not a vacation when you're when you're in a lull. It's time to work on everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think for me, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Know that there's always something you can do. And envision it working out, because I think sometimes we can go like, oh crap, oh no, and then I won't, and then I won't make insurance, and then that it's easy to get yourself into a downward spiral. So I was thinking about like, how can I shift this? What would it feel like when it does come? Okay, let's get the vortex right so it's easier. So a lot of that I think is internal, like making sure you don't panic and drive yourself into the ground. Take action. I think people are the solution to everything. Meet people, reach out to people reach out to new people. Let them know what you do. Make some shit up. Create something for yourself. So people, action, make mindset, people, action, faith.
That's right. Anything to avoid the downward spiral.
Yeah.
Can't afford to do that.
Yeah. Don't expect things that will always be great. Don't have any expectation. Don't expect that everything will always be crappy, but don't expect that everything will always be great. Like, just learn to ride the waves and trust the waves. So trust that you can ride the waves.
Another thing that I want to add and to jump on that expectation thing. I think that in any session that I've ever booked, that my expectation of what that session was going to go like was pretty much never right. Not saying that it went poorly, but just what I expected that they expected from me, from the audition that I turned in or what have you. It's always something different. So that's another part of the agility when you get to that point where you jump in a session and don't let yourself get thrown by an ask or just what they heard or something different than what you thought you were delivering, because everybody's perception is different. So it's like the expectation, it's let go of any expectation.
Yeah.
Just be prepared. Be prepared.
Be ready for a jam session. That's what I always think. Like, if you're a skilled musician, you just show up with your instrument and you be ready to jam. Oh, what are we playing? Okay. Oh, we're gonna change the tempo. Okay, great. Oh, whole different genre. Okay, let's jam. And I think that might be a great place to wrap up if there's no more questions.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Paula, thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to our further collaborations, and I'll see you. Well, we'll see you or won't see you.
I'm not sure who's going to moderate yet. I'm not sure. We haven't dished out the month of April yet.
Cool. Yay. Well, thank you so much for that. And everybody, thank you so much for being here. I hope everything's resonating. I hope all the great questions inspire you and move you forward. And look forward to talking with you. And tell your friends. And thanks, Kelsey, for making everything go and grow as you always do. So, We'll see y'all next time.
All right, bye-bye. Thanks so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.